Yeah, man. Lord Brunson back at you with the back at you, and I am the best reporting on the Eagles. Let's talk about it, man. So the season comes to an end. The Philadelphia Eagles lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know what I mean? A lot of people saw this coming, for a multitude of reasons. Based upon the way that the defense has looked, just a lot of stuff, man. We've been unhappy for some weeks. And, it's kind of almost, listen, I can't be mad at anybody for being optimistic about playoff football. I'm always going to be one of them guys myself. I feel like as long as you got playoff football, you got a chance. But, just good teams and competent teams, they'll always find a way to separate themselves in these situations. In these situations, I mean playoff football. The Philadelphia Eagles, at the 10-1 mark, we've shown a lot of weaknesses that, we choose to ignore. And a lot of us knew that these things would bite us in the rear end sooner or later. But, 10-1 is 10-1. And, if you looked at the Goat Talk stream today, I was telling Mike, like, I don't want to see the 10-1 team, or I don't want to see the team that's 1-6, you know what I'm saying, at this point in the season, 1-5 in their last 6. You know what I mean? I wanted to see something brand new. I want to see something innovative. And, I just don't think we got the coaching staff that could deliver. You know what I'm saying? The reason why, a lot of my focus is on coaching staff is simply because when you look at the personnel that we got on the roster, a lot of those guys was just in the Super Bowl the year prior. You know what I mean? We were the defending NFC champs going into this game. So you know certain levels that guys can reach when, you have quote unquote brilliant minds in the building, in a sense. You know what I mean? When you have guys in the building that make sense. We never thought that it could get as bad as worse than Jonathan Gannon. We didn't think that on the defensive side of the ball, but a lot of people like to throw around the word regress. I think we definitely regressed at the cornerback position. Darius Slay has regressed. Bradbury is god-awful at this point. Safety hasn't been the same since Gardner Johnson went to the Detroit Lions, who look good, by the way. The defensive front is not getting to people the same way that they were. But even though in this game, I was actually impressed with the way the front four was able to harass Baker at times. At times in this game, the defense, stepped up. They forced some punts. They kicked guys out of field goal position. They held these guys to field goals. They did what they could for as long as they could for just how poor of a unit they are with tackling and just fundamentals and covering. They made some plays. Zach Cunningham dropped the pick. Zach Cunningham was also able to bat a ball down. Milton Williams made plays off the line. Fletcher Cox made plays off the line. Nolan Smith, Brandon Graham. Guys were making plays, what I mean, on the defensive side of the ball. But, it's just what hurts the most is, look, I understand that you have a poor defense. But when your offense is 7 points away from making it a game, from making it a tie game, you know what I'm saying? And they just can't do it because, just the incompetence with the play calling and the play design. I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles didn't convert a third down the entire game. I stopped watching the game after the last turnover on downs, 4th and 12. We just threw like an out route or whatever, just throwing the ball for no reason, I guess. But, we didn't convert a third down at all this game. That's very telling. You know what I'm saying? Jalen Hurts was one of the best quarterbacks last year at beating the blitz. We couldn't beat the blitz at all this season. That's very telling. You know what I mean? That's very telling of us, very indicative of what we need to do and what we need to change. We need coaches, man. We need coordinators. We need a defensive coordinator. We need an offensive coordinator, and we potentially need a brand new head coach. You know what I mean? I wanted to be as sensible as I could with the fire Nick Sirianni talk and stuff like that, but it's looking real warranted, man, for real, when you really think about it. When you think about it, running the ball 4 times in the first half with DeAndre Swift, when you have a quarterback that has messed up fingers, when you have no A.J. Brown, when you have a concussed Julio Jones, you know what I'm saying? Running the ball 4 times in that half was just disgusting. And you were only down 7 that half with how bad you came out and played. You know what I'm saying? It's just common sense things aren't being done on the offensive side of the ball. The play calling is ridiculous, man. When you look at every time Jalen Hurts was blitzed, you got guys just running verts on the outside, trying to get a one-on-one, hoping Jalen Hurts has time to just throw it up. You got 4 verticals every time we getting blitzed, no slants across the middle, not one running back screen, and we knew this was a blitz-heavy team. You know what I'm saying? Not anything that makes sense. No slants across the middle, no blitz beaters, just nothing, man, to get the offense in a competent state. When you have the weapons that this offense has, with the offensive line that this offense has, to not be able to answer a blitz, that's just too much for me, man. I'd rather have a defensive-minded head coach who at least going to be able to get some stops, and then you could turn over play calling to a play caller, you know what I mean? Because it's definitely an art at calling plays. And, you know, Nick Sirianni don't have it. You know, to lose 32-9 to the Tampa Bay Bucks, you know what I'm saying? In the fashion that we lost, just a slow, painful beating. You know what I mean? It's just 9 points. 9 points in a playoff game. It just don't make sense, man, for a team that was so dominant on the offensive side of the ball last year. Let's think about it. What changed? The coordinators changed. You know what I'm saying? I think that we kept somebody in-house like a Brian Johnson that, you know, Nick Sirianni can kind of control in a sense. You know what I'm saying? And that's never good for offense. When you got one guy that the players like, and you got another guy that's just trying to control things. I think a lot of the frustration on the sideline and a lot of the head shaking and a lot of the issue with A.J. Brown this year is simply because the offense just don't run right. It don't run right. You know what I'm saying? It's all good and well when the verticals are working, when you're getting one-on-one matchups. But what happened when verticals don't work? What happened when you got to scheme guys, when you got to move guys around? You know, the decision to just blatantly shut down using motion in the offense, being creative, no running back screens, no moving in pocket. Jalen Hurts just dropped straight back and teams just blitz him. You know what I mean? There's no creativity in the offense, man. The offense is horrible, man. And, you know, at some point, you know, I look at the safety in this game. Now, of course, you want to throw the ball away in that situation if you're Jalen Hurts, but it's 3rd down and you're trying to make a play. Like, what are you supposed to do in a situation where you're just running curls? No creativity in this offense at all. And, you know, I feel sorry for what they put Jalen Hurts through towards the tail end of the season for sure. Because once teams figured out that we don't run hot routes, we can't deal with the blitz, you know what I mean? We're not even going to try to adjust for the blitz. They start blitzing us more. So, you know, on the defensive side of the ball, a lot of these guys can't come back. You know what I mean? We know that. You know, it's a shame that we're going to lose probably Cox, who I think got a lot left in the tank from a defensive tackle position, because I don't think Jordan Davis is ready yet to relinquish that role. I think Milton Williams played way better than Jordan Williams, you know, this season. Jordan Davis, but, you know, it is what it is, man. But what this team really needs is coaches. This team needs coaches in a seriously bad way. You know what I'm saying? Like we need coaches so bad that I'll take Mike McCarthy as an OC if we can. You know what I'm saying? I would take Mike McCarthy as an OC if we can, because I think the offense will be much more dynamic. You know what I mean? It'll be more creative. I'd take Dan Quinn as a head coach. You know what I'm saying? I would relieve Nick Sirianni. You know what I'm saying? Not for Dan Quinn. You know, the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator. I'm forgetting his name right now. But, you know, it's a couple guys that, you know, I would relieve Nick Sirianni for. Of course, Bill Belichick being one of them. But, you know, you just need coaches, man. You need to switch this whole thing up, man. You need fresh faces in the building. You need innovative coaches in the building, because Nick Sirianni's stubbornness and just the way that they even handled the Sean Desai thing. I mean, to fire your defensive coordinator in the middle of the season for a guy just because he had a name. You know, Matt Patricia wasn't good, you know, in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? We fired this guy because Matt Patricia has a name, because he's been around. Matt Patricia actually made the defense worse. So when you make a change like that mid-season at around 10-1 or whatever your record was, that's just telling that nobody knows what they're doing in the building, man. Nobody knows what they're doing in the building. It's a bunch of yes men as coaches. A bunch of yes men as coaches, man. Brian Johnson was hired to be a yes man. You know what I mean? I don't think Brian Johnson is as bad as the narrative is painted. You know what I mean? Around Brian Johnson, I think he's just in some unfortunate circumstances to where Nick Sirianni is switching plays. You got the quarterback and AJ going rogue. You know what I mean? They changing plays at the line of scrimmage in the Seattle game. You know what I'm saying? You just got a bunch of people who just are doing what they're supposed to do. Like, if you were coached by a Belichick, you don't even feel like you got the free range to even make a decision like that. But the Philadelphia Eagles went rogue in the discipline department. They went rogue in the coaching department. And you know they got nobody but to blame but themselves. Nobody but to blame but themselves. You know what I mean? I do feel sorry for this offense because this offense should have been much more creative, much more explosive down the stretch. But, you know, the stubbornness of you're in week 19 and you don't know how to beat a blitz. Like somebody, anywhere, anybody, make that make sense. Week 19, you don't know how to beat a blitz. But, you know, man, I expect some coaching changes, man. I expect us to draft positions that we usually don't draft. Because you can't have the offense that you have with a $25 million wide receiver, you know what I mean, a first-round Heisman pick, you know what I mean, at wide receiver, a $255 million quarterback, this illustrious offensive line. You just can't put up 9 points in a postseason game. So I expect some changes to be made, man. You know, somebody could be fired. You know what I'm saying? We could be hearing somebody's fired rather sooner than later, and we got to start interviewing people ASAP. I heard Bill Belichick got interviewed with the Atlanta Falcons. You know what I mean? I'm looking forward to the changes, you know, in the front office because this ain't it. So, you know, let me know what y'all think in the comments, man. I'm going to wait for the All-22 to come out, and I'm really going to diagnose just how bad this was from a film watching standpoint. You know what I mean? We all going to just enjoy the rest of the playoffs. And, yeah, man, we got some building to do, man. You know, it ain't nothing wrong with being on the building end of things, you know what I mean, from time to time. We know the potential of this quarterback. We know the potential of this team. We know where these guys have taken us. But the collapse was just on a different level. You know what I mean? This was a true collapse, and we got to own that. So, you know, don't be too hard on yourselves. Don't beat yourselves up. I know the end of the season is here, but we got a lot of content to make. We got a lot of things that we got to, you know, think about as an Eagles family and as an organization. And I'm pretty sure, you know, that some moves about to be made, man. Fly, Eagles, fly.